like a week ago, I had no clue who these people were. And then one of the streaming services that I watched, Love in the Air, was recommended. So I watched that, and then like my autism took over and I got obsessed. And I've watched like all the shows that they're in and like a billion TikToks about them and like interviews and stuff. And what I want to say about them is, first of all, like, I think that they have great chemistry. I actually was really surprised that they were first time actors in Loving the Air. I think they both have like natural charisma and talent that like not everybody has. So I think that's really cool. But I have to say, like, what really struck me about them, like watching interviews and stuff, was actually like their backstory and how close they are considering how very different like their backstories are. So Boss, like, I remember an interview where he talked about when he was like 15, his dad got diagnosed with cancer and he didn't know like if he'd be around forever. And so he started thinking he had to like find a way to support his mom, who was like just about to give birth to his baby sister or something like that. And so like, I mean, he obviously comes from a background where like not privileged, you know, like you have to deal with hard stuff and you have to like think about, you know, making sacrifices to support your family. And then I find out about Noel. I don't know. Like I've seen people. Well, I've heard people pronounce his name like lots of different ways, including like I don't know, different ways for Korean and different ways for Thai. But yeah. Anyway, so I'm just gonna call him Noel. I don't know if that's right. Sorry if it's wrong. But so he apparently comes from like a super rich family, and I'm not sure what his family actually does. Like, I saw something about maybe like they run like some kind of architecture business, but I don't know if that's actually confirmed. But he's obviously very rich. Like, it seems like he had kind of a playboy lifestyle like before he actually started working. And he said something about, I don't know, a few years back or something, his dad said something to the effect of like, what are you going to do when I'm not here anymore? And so maybe that made him buckle down and like actually do something. And so I think it's great, you know, that he's like actually out there doing stuff for himself and like not just like letting mommy and daddy take care of him. So that's great. But I just think it's interesting that they clearly come from very different backgrounds, but they're so close. And a part of me was like, it's interesting because I always think like personally, I come from like a really poor background and kind of like, you know, grasped my way up to like lower middle class. So like there's tends to be like a natural kind of resentment of like super rich people, and it's understandable considering like capitalism and how it exploits the lower classes so that like rich people can have lives of luxury.